Today, we're diving headfirst into the, well, incredibly rapid and sometimes genuinely surprising world of AI evolution, our mission to distill that key info, give you the context you need, and find those aha moments in the source material you provided. We're going to cover quite a bit. xAI's new AI companions definitely got people talking Meta's, frankly, massive infrastructure plans, some really practical AI tools for boosting your career growth, and a pretty fascinating high-stakes story about AI startup acquisitions.
Yeah, the sheer speed and the scope of all this is just unprecedented, really. It's not just small steps anymore. We're seeing these fundamental shifts, huge investments. The implications, well, they're significant for anyone trying to keep up.
Absolutely. And the pace just means we're constantly rethinking what we even thought was possible just, months ago, which actually brings us perfectly to something that dropped, just days ago, right after a very public apology from xAI for some problematic outputs. We're talking about xAI's Grok AI companions. Feels like a bold move. Maybe even a bit risky.
Oh, definitely bold.
These aren't just standard chatbots, are they? Your notes describe them as animated 3D avatars, capable of real-time voice chats, and they're explicitly designed to build relationships with users.
And that timing you mentioned is really what jumps out. Literally days after Grok faced that big backlash, xAI put out an apology, even a post-mortem, explaining what went wrong.
Rare.
And then this.
Right. And they're not just generic characters either. Your sources mention specific ones like Annie describing a flirty anime character, Bad Rudy, a red panda, and apparently more are coming soon. But here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit eyebrow-raising. The gamification. Users can unlock extra features, like NSFW options. Not safe for work, so potentially explicit stuff, by getting to higher relationship levels with the AI.
Yeah, that's a layer.
How does that change the whole dynamic, especially with all the recent controversy around AI relationships?
Well, if you look at the broader picture, you definitely see this surge in AI avatar use, like on character AI. But at the same time, there are these growing safety concerns about, emotional AI relations. We've even seen lawsuits recently against character AI, specifically about some of these issues.
Right.
So this xAI release, it definitely fits with Elon Musk's, let's say, unfiltered vision for his products. But it feels pretty aggressive, maybe risky, especially given Grok's recent problems and the very real risks if kids start using these for companionship.
That's a really good point about safety, especially with kids. Do you think xAI is deliberately leaning into that unfiltered thing to stand out, even knowing the risks? Or is it more like a move fast, break things approach they might need to dial back?
It's probably a bit of both, wouldn't you say? Musk has that history of pushing boundaries. And look, there's clearly an appetite in the market for these companion AIs, even with lawsuits happening elsewhere.
Sure.
The real test for xAI, I think, will be whether they can innovate here responsibly. Or if maybe public reaction forces them to be a bit more cautious down the line.
Okay, so speaking of scale, if xAI is about individual connections, Meta seems to be building the entire digital city for them to live in. Let's switch gears to Meta's AI supercluster plan. Mark Zuckerberg announced this, just staggering investment in compute.
Staggering is the right word.
Your sources talk about multiple AI superclusters planned for Louisiana and Ohio, specifically for their superintelligence labs initiatives.
And the scale is just, mind-boggling. You've got Prometheus, their first 1 gigawatt supercluster, slated for 2026. Then there's Hyperion. That one's planned to scale from 2 up to 5 gigawatts over several years down in Louisiana. The area it'll cover is apparently comparable to the size of Manhattan.
Wow, Manhattan size.
Yeah, it makes it one of the biggest AI infrastructure projects anywhere globally. Zuckerberg himself said Meta's investing hundreds of billions into compute. The goal, the highest compute per researcher ratio in the whole industry.
Hundreds of billions, that's serious commitment. But I also spotted something in the sources, maybe a bit subtle, about Meta potentially shifting its whole strategy around AI models. What's the deal there?
Yeah, you caught that. That's actually critical. This reported discussion inside Meta about maybe switching its AI strategy, potentially moving away from the open source playbook like they did with Llama, towards developing closed models.
Okay, so that would be a big change for them.
It'd be a huge reversal. It signals a completely different direction. It suggests they might believe the real competitive edge now lies in proprietary foundational models, which, could lead to a more fractured AI ecosystem, maybe less accessible for smaller players or researchers.
Right, if the big foundational models are all kept close.
Exactly. It raises questions about whether innovation gets more centralized among just a few, huge tech companies,
Yeah.
and what that means for everyone else. It really just underlines the sheer scale of Meta's investment, not just in chips and buildings, but in potentially shaping the future of AI research itself.
Okay, right. Let's pivot now to something really practical, something for you listening right now for your own career. We're talking about automating career growth with ChatGPT tasks. This is about using that scheduled tasks feature in ChatGPT to basically automate your job search and your skill development. I mean, just imagine getting job listings and practice questions sent right to you every day. For someone like me who used to spend hours hitting refresh on job boards, this feels like a cheat code, honestly.
It's a pretty neat application, isn't it? Really elegant. It just leverages AI for that personal productivity, that continuous learning piece. It fits right in with wanting to, gain knowledge quickly and effectively. Gives you a tangible way to use AI daily for your career.
And the process seems surprisingly simple. You go into ChatGPT, and they recommend using a reasoning model like O3. Then you just start your prompt with the schedule a task and add the specifics. Your source had great examples like search for remote software engineer positions, Python, JavaScript, $80K plus Baba mode daily at 6 a.m. Simple. Or if you want to skill up, generate 3 beginner Python questions with solutions daily at 8 p.m. And here's a pro tip from the source I thought was really smart. Let me stagger the times. Morning for job ops, when you might be motivated to actually apply.
Right, makes sense.
And evening for the practice questions, when you can sit down and focus on learning. And you can tweak it, right? Regularly optimize the searches, adjust the criteria, the timing.
Yeah, keep refining it.
Yeah.
Very practical.
Okay, now, buckle up. This next one is a bit of a whirlwind. We're diving into this really dramatic story. Cognition snagging windsurf, a whirlwind acquisition saga. So, Cognition AI, they make the Devin coding assistant, just acquired their rival Windsurf. And get this, it happened just days after Google made that massive $2.4 billion move to hire key talent from Windsurf and license their tech.
Yeah, the timing. Again. But the backstory here is just as wild. Windsurf went through this really turbulent period just before this. Your source notes they nearly sold to OpenAI for $3 billion.
Wow, okay.
But those talks fell apart, apparently due to Microsoft-related complications.
So just imagine being a Windsurf employee. You go from maybe getting acquired by OpenAI for billions to suddenly seeing Google hire away some key people and license tech maybe feeling left behind. Now joining forces with one of your biggest rivals, Cognition. What a ride.
It really was a roller coaster for them. So Cognition steps in and brings over all of Windsurf's remaining employees and their assets. That includes the IP, the brand, apparently $82 million in annual revenue, and access to over $100 million in capital they still had.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty good landing for the employees who stayed?
It seems like it, yeah. The source mentions accelerated equity vesting, financial participation. Even people without equity are getting shares based on how long they were there. And while the source says Cognition initially faced some, anger from the team, understandably maybe.
Sure.
This move now feels like a great outcome considering everything that happened before. Cognition's plan now is to merge Windsurf's agentic ITE tech with Devin. The idea is to enable things like parallel task delegation, seamless collaboration between the tools. It's just such a testament to how fast-paced and high-stakes the AI startup acquisition world is right now.
Wow. What a deep dive that was. Okay, we've covered a lot. The ethical tightrope with AI companions, the absolutely massive infrastructure being built for AI's future, those practical tools you can use right now for your own growth, and that intense, fast world of AI startup deals. Hopefully pulling out these insights helps you feel truly well-informed, right on the cutting edge of what's happening in AI.
And maybe it leaves you with a question to think about.
Right.
As AI keeps pushing boundaries, sometimes in areas that seem totally separate, like companions and supercomputers, how do all these rapid advances together collectively shape our future, our interactions with tech and with each other? What new opportunities and maybe what new challenges are going to emerge from this just relentless pace of innovation? Something to ponder.